Okay, and I'm going to write the directions down up here. So step one is to get, you need y, get one equation to say y equals, okay? That you have to have one equation to say y equals in order for this to work, okay? Our step two, then you're gonna plug that in. Rhonda, quit touching my mouse. You gotta plug that into the other equation.
Jeez, my handwriting is terrible right now. I'm all shaky. I'm all shaky.
Okay, we're gonna plug that into the other equation, and then we're gonna solve for y. These are the most generic steps that I could possibly, because really you gotta distribute, you gotta add, subtract, combine like terms. There's lots of steps in between. We just cannot possibly write them all, okay? And then your very last step, so you solve for x. I'm sorry, that should say x. Solve for x. Okay, and then you plug that back in. So you plug in x into the y equals. Okay, so those are going to be the steps that you need in order for this to work. Okay, so on the easier ones, on problem 1 and 2, when we did these problems, they were already solved. One of the equations were already solved for y equals, and in this case it is. Which equation is it? The equation 1 or equation 2? Which one says y equals? Equation 1. Okay, so that is the one that we're going to circle. Okay, we can circle this. And it says plug it into the other equation. So into the other equation, everywhere there's a y, we're plugging in this. Okay, so you can draw a little arrow down to here. There's a y, so that means that I need to plug in, everywhere there's a y, I need to plug in 2x minus 2. Okay, so we can rewrite this second equation, and I could say negative 7x minus 4. Well, there's a y, and so instead of y, we're writing 2x minus 2 equals 23. Okay, so we need to distribute. So I'm going to have negative 7x minus 8x, multiplying. Negative 4 times negative 2 is going to be minus 8 equals 23. Huh? It is plus 8, my bad. Okay, so we can combine our like terms.
Why are you saying that?
I don't know. Don't judge me.
I'm not.
Or I call your mom again. Okay, and then we can say minus 8 on both sides. So I'm going to have negative 15x equals 15. Huh? And then we got to say divide by negative 15. Divide by negative 15. So I'm going to have x equals negative 1. Okay, so we're on step 3. We have solved for x. Our step 4 says plug x into the y equals. Okay, well, what our equations say y equals what above? It said y equals, and you really need to look and see, well, what did you circle up here? 2x minus 2. 2x minus 2. And we know what x is now. X is negative 1. So it's really going to be y equals 2 times negative 1 minus 2. Okay, well, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 minus 2, which is just going to be negative 4. Okay, so we've solved for both of these. And so our very last step is to write these in that coordinate form, okay, which is going to be x comma y as a coordinate. So our x is negative 1. Our y is negative 4. Okay, look at number 3. Okay, so that was just review. That's what we did the other day. Okay, today there's just that first step where it says get y by itself. The y's are not by themselves. Okay, so you need to get y by itself. So which equation, we got equation 1 and equation 2. Okay, and so you can kind of label these. Which equation is going to be the least amount of work to get y by itself? So if we did equation 1, I need to add x to both sides and then divide by -1. If I do equation 2, I subtract 8x from both sides and then boom, there's y by itself. So we're going to use equation 2. Okay, now you can use it either one. It's still going to work out. Okay, so I'm going to use equation 2. So working with equation 2, I have 8x plus y equals 20. I'm trying to solve for y. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, 8x minus 8x. So we have y equals, can I put these two together? We really can't, so we could just say 20 minus 8x. Okay, so we have y by itself, and according to our steps, it says plug that into the other equation. Which equation were we using right now? Equation 2, which means this needs to be plugged into equation 1. So everywhere there's a y in equation 1, we're plugging in this 20 minus 8x. So it's really negative x minus, and my y is going to be 20 minus 8x equals -6. Okay, and if you look at this, this is the same. Negative x minus y. Negative x minus, and this is y. Okay, equals -6. Okay, so we need to distribute that -1 there. Okay, there's really a -1. So it's going to be negative x minus 20 plus 8x equals -6. Okay, what would our next step be? Look at it. What do you need to do? Yeah, eventually. It starts with a C. Yeah, combine like terms. What can we combine here? 8x and the 1x to give me a 7x minus 20 is -6. What's our next step? Add 20 to both sides. So I got 7x equals 14. What's our next step? Divide by 7. X equals 2. Where do we plug in that x equals 2 at? For x, but for where? Okay, so this is why I circle. I only have one thing circled up there, right? What is it? 20 minus 8x. And that lets me know where in the hell I need to plug it back in at. Okay, because that's the most confusing part. Most of you guys can get to here, and then you get lost as where to plug it back in. Okay, so I always just get in the habit of circle, and I plug it in. Okay, and it kind of makes a loop and a loop and a loop back up. Okay, so it's really going to be y equals 20 minus 8, and instead of x, what am I plugging in? What's x? 2. Okay, so it's going to be y equals 20 minus 16, which is 4. Okay, and so you can write this in coordinate form, 2, 4.